solo por subir al cielo y volver a caer en tus ojos. Lo haría una y otra vez.
¿Qué onda, cabrons? You're listening to the GRINDCORE and SKA Enthusiast podcast, episode 24, interview number 2, with special guest Miguel Valtierra. He's a musician, a ska enthusiast, been in the ska scene forever, before my time. We're gonna shoot the shit and hope you enjoy, and we're gonna play some of his songs from his current band called Music Mob, and some songs from another band he was in called Descanse back in 2012, 2011. So here we go, and skank it up, pick it up. Alright, everybody, we're here with Miguel Valtierra. Interview number 2 on episode 24 of the SKA and GRINDCORE Enthusiast podcast. We're gonna shoot the shit and ask him some questions about the ska scene and his current bands and all that jazz. So here's our guest. Say what's up, Miguel.
Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing?
For sure.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, dude. How are you doing?
I've been good. Could be better, but can't complain.
And how's the difference of Bell Gardens to Sacramento? You like it over there?
Well, just the bigger difference is it's a lot more calm out here, including on the media and the scene, I mean, in general, on music.
And over there's not really a ska scene, huh?
There is, but it's not really based on Sacramento. It's based on the Bay Area.
Oh, that's right. So you could drive a couple hours to San Francisco, to Gilman Street, huh? That club?
Yeah. Well, the strongest points in the Bay Area will be Oakland or those places around there, you know?
Cool. So you're still around ska, but just a little farther from you.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, like I told you about Royal Club, they played down the street in San Jose, but, you know, that's like rare you get a band like
yeah,
that.
well, the majority of, like, you know, the scene, like, around here, it's in San Jose and Oakland. And then they spread to, like, you know, Frisco, and then they come over here to Sacramento every now and then. Unfortunately, like, the scene of the music in Sacramento, it's not so underground. It's more commercial. Even the bands that do, like local bands do cover band, and they get paid, so it's a different kind of scene, you know?
Mm-hmm. Cool, man. All right, can you tell the people about your background? Were you born in USA, or are you from Mexico?
Well, I'm born here, like, you know, in LA, like back in the 80s.
Cool.
And I always lived in Bell Gardens, like basically lived my whole life there. When I was younger, I lived in Cedar Terrace, which is it was just LA back then.
Right.
But I didn't really grow up there. I grew up in Bell Gardens my whole life.
So Bell Gardens all your life, pretty much.
Yes, yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
For sure, and
that's what like the whole scene started, you know.
Yes, we'll get to that too right now.
Yeah.
And when you were growing up, did you have music in your household, in your house, growing up?
Yeah, well, my dad, like, both my parents like rock, like from the 60s, 50s, 70s, 80s. But the one that was more influenced in the house was my dad. And my dad liked from, like, rock and roll to, like, heavy metal from the time, you know, like Ozzy Osbourne, Megadeth, and stuff like that.
Oh, cool. So when you're a little kid, you were hearing all that rock stuff, and you're already hooked, like, on music a little bit like that, right?
Yeah, my dad had all vinyls of, like, the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, Bob Dylan, The Doors, Megadeth, Guns N' Roses, and all that stuff.
Cool, that's great. That's great to have when you're little, because I hear people that are musicians and they have no household music and they have to do it by themselves. Go to the record stores and research it themselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, fortunately, like I had that since I was little. Like my dad would on the weekends put music and different artists, different bands, and that's how I knew like about the bands, the music, even the time, the era, and stuff like that.
Cool. And how did you get to ska? Like, how did ska get? Because I know ska wasn't in the household. So where'd you learn ska when you're little?
Well, I remember that when I was younger, like in the late 80s, early 90s, like I already listened to bands like Maldita Vecindad, Café Tacuba, which is like a little bit leading to ska, but not really. I already knew like, Sectacore and all those bands that started like really in the 80s, They became more popular in the 90s, but they started in the 80s,
But like, who introduced you? Okay, but like, did you get a CD from a friend? Like, where'd you get your first like CD or ska, or like your first like introduction to that?
Well, I mean, I don't know. That's kind of a complicated one, but I bought a couple CDs, like from Maldita, Vecindad, and Café Tacuba, some more in Spanish, And then when the internet started coming out, we started like, Googling and getting stuff. But you're talking about like, when that happened, it was already like 98, 99, when the internet started,
So you got in the ska?
But before that, like, it was through my parents, through CDs, through friends.
Okay. So in 98, 99, that's when you first got hooked in ska?
You could say that, because, I mean, I listened to it before, but I didn't really listen to one genre, like, where, like, I was all hooked into, I listened to rock in general,
Okay.
And I like the history of the artist and how they started, and how the fusion of different styles and all that stuff.
For sure. And do you remember your first ska show or backyard show?
Yeah, I was like 13, 14, like 7, 8th grade. And we went with my dad, and my dad took us. Even my brother went with me and two all their friends. And we went to a local wine fair where they did like open mics kind of gigs. And the first band I ever seen was like Chencha, like live.
Oh, wow.
And I got hooked. Since I seen them play, I got hooked because it was like a different type of fusion of ska. Because we always known about like traditional ska and third wave ska and like punk ska, which was already like pretty big around that time. It was big before that, but at the time was already consolidated as a style of ska or music style, right?
Yes.
But this other ska that was like more local, it was something different. It was like a fusion of a new wave, even though it hasn't been considered like a new wave because it hasn't been commercial yet,
So you saw Chencha when they first started, basically with the old singer, right? With the crazy hair.
Yeah. I seen. Well, I was a fan of Chencha since the first singer, which was Javier. I don't remember his last name.
Yeah, Javier, that's his name.
And then and then he was also alternating with Hendrix, which Hendrix I still talk to him. And then it was Christian, which is Chris or Vampiro, which is my friend too.
And Chencha,
So I've seen all the transitions from when they started to up to now.
and do you agree that Chencha Berinches, they're very influential in the LA ska scene, correct?
Well, you could say that the godfather of like underground ska of their like scene of their style, because you had Budogloscos before that.
Right.
But Budogloscos is punk ska and third wave, so it wasn't like something of a new fusion or mix. It was already there, and they were just playing that,
Yes, and speaking of Voodoo Glow Skulls, they're one of the first third wave ska bands that got into like white boy ska compilations too. So Voodoo Glow Skulls are another influential band in the scene, correct?
Correct. They're probably like the first one that ever did like ska that were
Latino.
Where the musicians were Mexican or Mexican descendants or had Mexican influence in the music too.
And they were also singing in English too, which kind of trips you out too, huh?
Yeah, they were doing both, and they were smart enough to use like the tools of their city, since at that time they were like from like Anaheim area,
Okay.
They were able to use certain things to commercialize their music and get known. But it was different in their time than when it was our time, you know?
Mm. And okay, and then after seeing Chensha, did you ever want to start a band like from the start after seeing them?
To be honest, like my idea was never really there, like to start a music band. It was more going to the shows, the scene, getting to know the bands. I became friends with, I could say, all the bands from the local scene, and I started getting friends with like outside the local scene, like international. And then until like it hit like 2000, between 2000 and 2001, that's when I started getting the idea and wanting to form a band or be in a band. And that was just because I was invited to a band that still plays today, and I liked the whole environment. For me, it was more about the music than really the scene or the environment or the reason why we wanted to make music. You know?
That's interesting. So, cause in 2001, that was when I started going to shows, but I was 11 years old and I had horrible musical skills, so I was just a fan until I learned how to play from Sector Core songs and all that. So that's pretty cool that we're almost like in the similar space of time.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, I've been in the scene for a long time, but I wasn't really, my point wasn't really making a band and making music and getting big and all stuff.
Okay, cool. So we're almost similar. Like, first you started going to shows, show after show, meeting people, blah, 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 and then you eventually started a band. And that first band was it La Negra Soledad?
No, it was a band called Drunk Skunks.
Drunk Skunks?
Yeah. I wasn't drunk. I was the lead singer of Drunk Skunks.
Oh, shit. So you started with Angel and Joseph.
With Angel, Danny, Alan, and Bobby was the lead guitarist.
Wow, so you're one of the original members of Drunk Skunks.
Yes. The lyrics are my lyrics.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I didn't make much music then, but I made the lyrics and I was singing.
That's a trip, because Drunk Skunks, I see them all the time in Montebello and Bell Gardens and the pizza place in Huntington Park. Remember that?
Yeah, we had it was a different kind of ska, because it was like, the band was like a punk ska base, but we were doing a lot of my ideas. When I came into the band in the beginning,
right.
I brought ideas of like, let's do something not different, but something different for the people that they're not, they don't have it here in LA, you know? So I said, instead of mix a little more Mexican ska into the band and not keep it just straight out like punk ska.
Punk ska.
And we started doing that little bit of fuse. Yeah, because in the beginning of the band, everything was punk ska, like for Drunk Skunks, you know?
Yeah. I even saw one time Angel. He just popped up at a ska show. It was a free show, and he just played Skank. Remember that song?
Yeah.
He played it with the drummer from La Negra Soledad.
Yeah. That's actually is my song. I actually made the music and the lyrics for that one.
Wow, that's fucking awesome, dude. I didn't know that.
Yeah, what a lot of people don't know, and it takes away the magic of the music, is that those chords that I made the lyrics with are chords that all the bands play.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, so it wasn't something that original, but it was something that the people like to hear, you know?
But isn't it pretty cool that Drunk Skunks had like their transitions? They went from Drunk Skunks to Ultima Caída, and now they're the Delirium's doing great.
Yeah, but that was where we had a different opinion of taste of music, because the bassist and I, we grew up together since kids, and we had we went to shows together. We live around the corners from each other. We had this view of music a certain way, and then the lead guitarist was more into like acid rock, like Guns N' Roses kind of thing. So give at least a favor of like for the solos. And the drummer was Danny also, that I grew up with him too, so we had the same chemistry. But Angel wanted to do something more commercial, more like what they're doing now with their lyrics, more traditional ska, more educated, like, music basis, you know?
Okay, cool. And after your departure from Drunk Skunks, then it was La Negra Soledad, correct?
Correct, that was La Negra Soledad. They already had the band set up, and I was like added to the band as another singer.
Right.
But it came to a point where like the band was like 18 members.
Fuck.
We had like
A
4
fucking circus.
trumpets, I think, 2 sax, 2 trombones.
Clarinet.
We had timbales, we had 2 guitarists, bassist, drummer, and then 2 singers.
Yeah, I remember seeing you guys one
And
time.
we had a clarinet also.
Yeah, clarinet. I remember seeing you guys one of my first ska shows, and I was like, this fucking band is humongous, dude. What the fuck?
Yeah, it was also like people that we grew up in the same city. It was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 members of the band were like, from Bulgaria, Commerce area.
Right.
And then the rest just started adding to the band.
Cool. And after that band, well, the singer also he started another band called Los Pedos, correct?
Yeah, with him, with the drummer, with Alan.
Oh, okay, so 2 members started Los Pedos.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, I trip out. They still play here and there in the scene of 2024. Isn't that true?
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess they still keep in touch. I know them. I talk to some of them more often than others, but I still keep kind of like in touch with everyone. I haven't been active for a while.
Right.
But I mean, it's just a band that, it was banded like from Telaraña, Concept 6, La Negra Soledad, and other musicians. So that we all knew each other. We all knew what they were doing. I guess it was comfortable for them to make music together.
So pretty much in the ska scene back in that time in 2001, a lot of the bands were also in different bands, correct too, right?
Correct. It's like there was a band. I don't know if you know this band. I don't think you ever seen them play because by the time probably you were around, they already had broken up. It was called Cafeína.
Yeah.
And some of those members are members of South Central Kansas.
Oh, I see.
And they will play together. They have their own little, like, we play with them, and we have our band also.
And when you play with La Negra Soledad, did you ever play at the Allen Theater?
Yeah, we played at the Allen Theater. We got to play at the Roxy. We got to play at the Knitting Factory when the Knitting Factory was alive still.
Yeah, Hollywood.
Yeah. So we got to play a couple big shows.
Awesome. That must have been real cool playing from backyards and then you're here in the spotlight, huh?
It was really awesome, but the sad part about it is that was the end point for the band.
Oh, okay. So La Negra Soledad was a really short run, couple years.
It was like about 2-3 years.
And I tried to
same as the Girls Council, was 2-3 years.
Yeah, and I tried to find a demo because I recorded you guys too, like on a VHS tape, and I couldn't find it, so I wanted to play in the playlist, but you can't find it on the internet somehow, so fuck it.
We only had one video that we did at the factory, but there's a long story upon that, but I don't have that recording, and I don't think only a few members had the recording, and they made copies, but I don't know. I mean, I think Alan still has a recording for it, but I didn't really get to see it, to be honest.
For sure. And after La Negra Soledad, can you give me a list of bands that you were also in? Okay,
so after La Negra Soledad, I stopped playing maybe for a couple of months or so.
Mm-hmm.
And then Concept 6 was trying to get back to play. So I started, going to practices with them. I was playing trumpet with them. Okay. And we did play maybe 1 or 2 shows. Well, I played 1 or 2 shows with them. And then I couldn't do it anymore.
And then at the
same time, I was helping out.
Yeah.
What was the name of that band? The same people that were trying to bring back Concept 6 had another band. I don't remember right now the name. Forgive me. But I was also playing with them.
Okay, so...
And then they stopped around the same time,
Okay, cool. And then after that, maybe around 2011, that's where you joined my band.
Yeah, I think it was 10, no?
Yeah, it was a while back, dude. I can't remember the date.
Yeah.
But...
So I joined your band because I remember I used to hang around with you guys, with your other band, with Mascarados.
Correct.
And I always told you, and I told every single member that you guys were pretty good, and you guys reminded me a lot of La Negra Soledad.
Okay.
But I'm going to be honest with you, and I told you this before, you guys didn't really have a singer,
We didn't have a singer.
And I was trying to see Well, you guys did have a singer, but he wasn't that great, to be honest.
Half-ass.
And then, well, that's my personal opinion, okay? Like, let's take it. So I was trying to see, like, if you could give me a chance to, like, join in and, like, help you guys with other things, too, because you guys were youngsters all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't work out because it wasn't just you. It was, like, all the members, and they were not really cool with ideas and so on. And then I remember you told me, like, hey, you know what, I have my band, too. We do need a singer and somebody to play instruments. Like, just come and join us. And it was cool. Like, I had fun. And it gave me, that opened the door for me to start playing with other bands. I came back with La Muerte back in the time.
Okay.
I was playing trumpet with them. I was playing with two other bands. I don't remember the names. Sorry, like, I'm bad with those. And I was playing different instruments also, not just singing.
For sure. And speaking of Descanse, do you remember when we played at a school, like in front of thousands of kids?
Yeah, that was awesome.
That was awesome.
I hadn't done that in a while. When we did it, it was like, wow. and the cool part about it was that the people actually liked it. You remember that? Huh?
Oh yeah, man, it was awesome. We were like in the backstage, and they're like, "All right, you're up."
I was it was the first time in years that I was like a little bit nervous because the type of school that we were playing for,
right?
Like, it was for gifted kids, so I thought that, like, the criticism of what they were going to hear was going to be greater than usual,
Mm-hmm.
Which it kind of was, but at the end it worked, and they liked it, and that's why it was, like, an awesome experience,
Yes, sir. I will always remember that show, man. That show was, like, in my top 10 at least.
Yeah, it was fun.
And
I had fun with it.
Yeah, and they only gave us, like, 15 minutes, so we only had to play, like, 3 songs, like a little EP set, but it was perfect, though.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember I had to, like, take the bus to get out there and then come back in the bus.
Hell yeah, determined to play.
Yep.
And
you
also...
Oh, and I also, in between that time, remember I also founded GRINDCORE.
Oh, that's right, you helped them out?
Yeah, I'm a founder of the band, dude.
Wow, so in the ska scene from 2001, you've always been helping bands out, like, in and out, but you always been there.
Yeah. Well, when I was out of La Negra, I was trying to look for a project because I didn't want to stay like that. And Alan, the drummer of the band, he hooked me up with Jose and the rest of the members from GRINDCORE. They didn't even have a name, and they wanted to do like some more into like Mexican ska, kind of like Salon Victoria, kind of like La Tremenda Corte, kind of like Royal Club and stuff like that,
Mexican
So
ska.
I had a lot of knowledge and I had known people to play shows and everything. So I was playing bass with them. So I'm like one of the founders playing bass. I couldn't sing because they already had a singer, which was Chacas. But that's how it worked. And the name, it was actually created by my brother and I.
For sure. And your brother was also in the ska scene too, correct?
Yeah, he played with La Negra and I don't remember what other band he played also for a while. And then he played, obviously, with the last project that we had, which is Music Mob.
Right. We'll get to Music Mob in a bit. And also, do you remember Descanse? We got a short, like last minute call from Esteban, and he says, "Hey, you want to play at an East LA skate park? I got you guys opening up."
Oh yeah. I remember I had talked to him about it because he was gonna have that show, and he said that he already had his band and stuff like that. And I remember I was still promoting at the time, so I helped him promote the show too. And I knew the guy from the skate shop too, the mister. So it wasn't like I didn't know them, so I was helping also the skate shop because it was giving like promo to them too,
Yeah, it was.
And
called,
then I remember we got like a day before, like 2 days before, like, hey, I have an open spot, you guys gonna play? And I said, let's do this. But I mean, it was kind of like rushed in a way because we didn't have a plan, remember?
Right, I think you just freebased it too. You just sing whatever.
Yeah, because we were not complete. Remember, it was just like you, the drummer,
Bass.
I think the guitarist, and us, and me. That's it.
Yeah. I remember that show very very good because I remember that we kicked ass and you sing great, dude. That show.
Yeah, we would have kept on just pushing it. We would have done bigger, better stuff. At least to be active about it today, but it was complicated, you know?
Yeah, but you did have a good run with us. We played at least 4 or 5 shows with you, so
yeah.
I'm very cool with that.
Well, it was probably more than that because we got to play at that club with ENTHUSIAST, remember?
Wow, when was that? I don't remember that one.
That was a while back when we played one with SKA, and then I remember the other one. Dude.
Holy shit, good shit. And do you remember we played a Montebello gig for like a birthday show with your brother?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I remember we ended up going to a little kickback where they had like a metal grindcore kind of like show and they let us play there too, remember?
Yeah, we played like 2 shows that day, huh?
Yeah.
I love that because when you're a ska band, sometimes you'll play fucking 3 shows in one day, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, at some point when I was playing with you guys, or with Wisconsin, I was playing also with La Muerte, and I was playing with Payasos Asesinos, and I remember some other bands, so I would have like 3 or 4 shows a day, so I would just go play, leave, and go to the next one. Sometimes it was on the same spot, you know?
For sure. And last thing on Descante, I recorded a couple of our songs, and they're all instrumental, and they're still up on YouTube, right? And they sound pretty good. I want to play it in the playlist after this interview, and I was gonna ask you would you ever want to like just record the vocals for those songs?
Yeah, that would be awesome, dude.
You know what I'm saying?
Because I did like the music too.
Yeah, like I have like 3 or 4 tracks that are just instrumental, like with horns, and it's with the old band members too. But they're complete, but no vocals.
Yeah, that would be awesome to do, man.
For sure, I'm gonna write that down. Then we'll probably get that in the future.
Yeah.
All right. Pretty much your bands from your time in the ska scene, and then let's talk about your current project. What's it called?
Well, the last project that I have is called Mixclusive.
Okay, so Music Mob is no more.
On that one, what I did, well, Music Mob's still there, but we've been kind of like on a break because you could say most of the members already have their own thing to do. They don't have time for it, you know.
Okay. For sure. And for this project, do you have any releases right now or demos?
I have some music in SoundCloud, but it's all been like kind of like experimental, like see how it sounds. Mm-hmm. More for me than actually for an audience, you know?
Yeah.
But I did that like right after Music Mouth had like a big break. Like we stopped playing for like about a year or so, and I was doing that on my own, like on my own time.
So would you?
But I haven't had also a chance to like play live or produce it online or anything.
Would you ever consider playing like a show in Sacramento with your band?
Yeah, I want to do that in the future, but I mean right now because of other reasons like work and stuff like that, I don't really have a lot of time. Because I mean, I will have to go out to venues and check how really the thing works because I haven't really been out there that much here, you know.
For sure, it's pretty cool that since 2001 you've been going to shows and been in bands, and you're still doing it, man.
Yeah. I mean, I've been doing this since before, but I mean, as a musician, like 2001, you know.
Yeah, I always say don't stop because why you stop? You have a gift. You know what I'm saying? Use it.
Well, a lot of the guys are still doing it nowadays. They've been doing it like since my time and a little bit before, so they haven't stopped. And just it's hard in the process of the years because now you have family, kids, responsibilities, work. Like it takes a lot of the time that you could invest on music, you know.
Right, and let's talk about your band right now. How do you? What's your creative writing process? Do you look at a movie? Do you read the news? What's your songs about?
Well, okay. In every single band, it's been different because every band has had its own like view of what they want to expose or talk about, right?
Right.
In the perspective of like Music Month, the first thing that we wanted to do music that was fun. We wanted to do music that people would like. Right. And we didn't want to get stuck into just discussing. We wanted to be able to play like in a metal show, on a punk show, in a ska show, maybe even on a pop show, you know? So and people will still enjoy, and we will have enough music to play different kinds of genres and different kinds of places, which we did.
Cool. And are your songs English or Spanish or both?
Some are English, some are Spanish, and some are kind of mixed.
Cool. And
We have different like eras within the same 2 years that we were pretty big, you know.
yeah, and you said you play trumpet and guitar, right?
I know how to play trumpet, trombone, guitar, bass. I learned drums already, piano. I can sing. I know how to read and write music.
And did you learn that in school, or were you self-taught, or you learned by ear?
Okay, when I was younger, I was in a Salesian school. The people that come to a Salesian school, they know that they teach you how to play instruments at a certain age. But since I was a little bit hyper in school, they put me in marching band since then. So I learned how to play trumpet for like about 2-3 years, but then I stopped. I didn't play anything. And then in my senior year in school, I wanted to learn how to play again. So I got classes and I started playing trumpet. And then within 6 months, I was in the marching band again. And I learned how to play trumpet and trombone there. And then from there, I just started learning how to play other instruments on my own.
For sure. You're kind of like me, dude. I started when I got into ska. I went to my school and I signed up for trumpet right away, and I tried to learn, but I sucked ass. But I continued to keep learning music instruments. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's like once you start with one and you really like it, you can jump to the next one. But I mean, it's not that easy, especially when you really don't have a theory. If you have a little bit of theory, that helps a lot because you already know the fundamentals, or at least a little bit, and you can just pick up an instrument by practicing, you know?
For sure. And like you said about your inspirations, Matita and Chencha probably. Here's another question about the ska scene. Do you think Sectacore is a big influence? Because for us, Mascarados, that's how we started. We just fucking covered almost all their damn songs, and we got to learn the ska beat. And Sectacore does the ska beat the best. Do you agree on that?
Okay, look. It depends on the point of view where you're at and where you're living, where you stay.
True.
Because depending on where you're at is what you're into and what your ear wants to hear, right?
Mm-hmm.
So us here being influential with all the English music, like the hardcore or the hard riffs of like rock, like obviously if you hear something like skacore, which is not really, it hasn't really been like made or played out a lot in the scene, and somebody came over from another country and did it, it's going to be influential for everyone because they like that hardcore kind of like sound riff, you know?
Yeah.
But people that really are into ska in general, without dividing skacore, Mexican ska, traditional third wave and everything, they're going to like it, but they're not going to be so much into it like that, you know? So obviously, yeah, it was influential for LA to
big time
influence a lot of kids to do bands like hardcore, like Mascarados, like La Muerte, like La Pobreza, even you could consider something like that. La Resistencia did kind of some part of it too, and other bands, right, that were influenced by them. But I mean, to me, my perspective, that's my personal opinion. So a lot of people don't like when I say this. There's only one Sectacore. There's only one skacore.
Right.
The rest of the bands is just like, you know, following through what this band did. You get me?
Yes, sir.
So all those new bands too, like I hope nobody gets offended, but it's like all that comes from that influence from Sectacore, which is like the only skacore. So, you know, Otto Calacas and all those, La Pobreza is still active, and I'm sorry, but, you know, that's not new or LA skacore. It's just skacore, because it was already made before, you know?
Yes, sir. Amen. And
but a lot of people don't believe this, you know?
No, that's facts right there, dude. They're the godfathers.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, they were really influential.
And
but I mean, it's like if you would say like it was what is it called? The Spaniard band
Escape.
Oh, I can't.
Escape.
Escape, yeah. Oh, were they influential on the ska? Because they were doing some sort of ska too.
Yeah.
Even though it was more like punk, you know.
Yes, sir.
But they were doing also hard riff. But you can't really compare it because when Scapa started doing more ska-core or ska-core, it was way after already, like, you know, Sectacore had come out with it, you know?
Yes, sir. And back to the ska old days. I got on my notes right here. Did you ever go to JC Fandango and Terraza Jamai back in the day?
Yeah, we got to play one time only in JC Fandango. I think the one at Riverside when we were with La Negra Soledad, if I'm not wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to a couple shows there, but it was kind of hard to get from LA all the way to, like, Riverside, you know?
Yeah, man. And it's kind of sad because I grew up going to Terraza Jamai here in Montebello, and Mascarados, we practiced and we started down the street on 10th Street, and I always pass by and I go, man, they fucked up for doing raves and shit.
Well, the thing is that place was already burned a long time ago because they used to do salsa, cumbia, and sonidero, and then they added the ska to it towards the end of the whole era of the place, you know? I actually knew the owner of the place not because of the ska scene, but because of the cumbia, sonidero, and salsa, because my cousins liked dancing and we used to go there, they knew him. And we used to kick it after hours and drink there. And it was a really cool spot, even though it was a little bit dangerous, you know?
Yeah, dude. Trip out on this. I love ska, right? I'm a ska enthusiast. That's why my show's called that.
Yeah.
I even did research, and I trip out that back in 1996 or 97, like the Aquabats played at Terraza Jamai, all these like white boy like traditional ska bands, and I go, what the fuck? They started there down the street where I lived.
Yeah, I mean, it's like part of a lot of the youngsters don't know or are not aware that, you know, a lot of the ska, you could say late 80s and throughout the 90s,
Yep.
Or late 90s, a lot of the areas where the ska really started playing underground was like Montebello, Well Gardens, Southgate. That was the heart of the places to do gigs, even at houses.
Yes.
Because you would do them like in East LA, they would get raided. You would do them in South Central with Sudedres. And we were blackballed in some sort of way, like, you know, in different cities. But in these cities, it wasn't blackballed until like the early 2000s and late 2000s.
For sure.
And then it changed. It went from like areas that were kind of calm, kind of like middle class, like places to like the ghetto, you know?
Yeah, and last thing about the old times, the scene. I remember going to the Allen Theater for all the ska shows. Right, I went to tons, at least 50, and I remember a guy being the PA guy and playing like the DJ, and that guy was Clemente, right?
Yeah.
And I trip out that he had a vision that, hey man, there's a ska scene, man. These kids love this shit. I want to start my own shit called EvaCore. Can you speak about EvaCore?
Well, it's complicated to talk about that because, like, you know, I know a lot of it, but I wasn't really there, you know?
Right.
So I don't know what's, like, a fact and what is not. People that have been doing this and been doing, like, I do promoting, I did bands. I talk to other promoters, I talk to bigger bands. Like, I know a lot about everyone and everybody's business and stuff like that. So I know kind of, like, you know, adding one with one, like, what's really the truth, you know? But talking about him, like, you could say that he was one of the persons that pushed the ska scene to the fullest, where, like, he noticed, like, hey, we could do gigs, some old bands, like, you can make money off of this and help out, like, the scene in a way where, like, it helps them too, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But people don't know is that he's not the first influencer on doing the ska scene and everything. The first original influencer should be told and should be said that it was Woody Loscos with John, which was the owner of the Allen Theater, or the guy that was doing the shows there.
That's right, John.
Which was, what was his production name? I forgot. Something House. I forgot about
Our House Productions.
Yeah, and Our House Productions, and then it became Allen Theater in combination with Clemente. So he was really the inspirational person that did all this, because John, at some point when he was younger, he was touring with like the Warped Tour, and he knew Buddha Roscoe's, you know, the bigger band.
Oh, really?
So he's the one that had like the connects and the people to do the networking to make it happen.
Wow, I didn't know that.
And then just Clemente followed through that, but in his own way, with his own ideas, with his own, like, way of doing it. And it's cool, like, nobody's ever gonna take away that from him,
Yes, sir.
But there was other things that were obscure about the scene that, if I get into it, we'll have to do another show about that.
Yeah, dude, you're totally correct. I remember my dad used to drive me to Southgate because I didn't have a car. I was too young, right? And my dad would always wait for me to the show end, and he would always be talking to John.
Yeah, like John was like a promoter before he became into the whole Island Theater thing. He worked at I know he worked at the World Tour, and he was also like working with bigger promoters. He knew all those bands like I said, like Buddha Roscoe. We got to meet in the 80s, like Sublime and them and all that stuff. All those like bands that were very famous, like famous people knew him, and he was very humble person. Like I haven't seen him in a couple of years. I don't know if hopefully he's still alive. But him and his family made it happen, and that was really cool for us as teenagers and growing up.
Yeah,
obviously, like Clemente was a pretty big thing or big thing that made it keep on going. That made the consistency to keep on having shows, and he took over.
Wow, so without John, there would be no Island Theater.
No, he was the one doing the shows. He even did backup shows like back in the time.
What the fuck? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, you know a lot.
Yeah.
For sure.
I mean, like I said, like there was a scene before the scene.
Right.
But that scene wasn't just ska scene. It was just this scene. Because we would have like metal bands, punk bands, and ska bands playing together. So all rock genre playing in backyards and little venues. Sometimes even we play. Sometimes played at the gym in Southgate, at the YMCA in Montevelo, the YMCA in HP, at the YMCA in there's another YMCA by the
Peter Pepper
by the bowling alley right there in Gage. And stuff like that, So there was other bands prior to these bands that were like punk, or metal, or ska, or like punk ska, or whatever. And they're the ones who really opened up, like, the feel for all the bands that now, that they're consolidated and some are still playing up to today,
Yes, sir. And we could talk ska all fucking day. I got 2 more questions about ska, and then we'll do a couple more and we're done. Okay, dude?
Okay, pal.
Can you talk about the ska scene early in the days, maybe till now too, about why is South LA like the most like ground point of ska bands? Like, why is there such a good ska scene in South LA?
I think, it's based on population. You have a big population of like Mexican descendant, people in the area, in the city, and obviously that brings like that music to be consolidated there. Over here up north we have a lot of like Mexican descendants, but it's not as strong as out there.
Right. Because when I was in Montebello, I tried to get a ska band, which eventually became Mascarados, you know what I'm saying? And I tried to get members, and all my high school buddies, they didn't know ska for shit. I had to introduce them with demos from La Muerte, La Resistencia, and all that, and then they got hooked, and I fucking taught everyone the basics, and that's how I became Mascarados. But I even told them, I go, I'm gonna move to fucking South LA, man. I'll fucking start a band like that.
Well, the thing is, like, how could I put it? Okay, when I started going to gigs, before there was like a punk scene, metal scene, ska scene, there was just a scene of just gigs.
Right.
And there was mixed rock music, right?
Mm-hmm.
The genre that was like strongest, it was punk. It was a punk scene.
Mm-hmm.
You had punk scenes everywhere, from like North Hollywood to Boulevard.
That's right.
So the sound, like I talked earlier about the ska core,
Yeah.
The sound of the heavy riffs and the distortion, it's always been like in our nature because that's what we listen the most to, So all the southeast of LA, which is Vergara, Montevelo, Commerce, Norwalk, Cerritos, I don't know, I could say Southgate also, Lakewood, even, I want to say even Maywood, and Cudahy. All that area was always full of like rich, like just heavy distortion, like music, like Rage Against the Machine, like Deftones, which was something related to like punk, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking that the reason why, like it was so hard, it was because ska hasn't really been, it hasn't been up to today commercial.
Yep.
Once it becomes commercial to that level where we have LA bands commercial, it'll change things,
Mm-hmm. And even
so that's, I think, my. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, even what you said about being commercial, ska today is still treated like a joke. And like it's fucking clown music, and every time I mention ska, they go, ska? What the fuck is that? People don't even know what the fuck it is, and it's been around since 60 years.
Okay, the reason why, I'm going to tell you something that one of my close friends told me.
Sure.
And you only know that once you get out of LA or out of Mexico, that you go to another country,
Yep.
Whether it's Europe, whether it's South America, it doesn't matter. It's that our music as a ska, whether it's ska core, whether it's Mexican ska, whether it's any fuse of ska, like on the root of the Mexican,
Or reggae too.
It's considered out in Europe like Latin ska. It's not considered ska.
Right.
So every time, like, our music gets, like, analyzed, it's like, oh, there's that Latin rock, there's the Latin ska, there's that Latin so-and-so, Latin grindcore, Latin this. So it's already based, like, defined as Latin. So that doesn't let it go to, like, a more commercial pace,
Like keep
So-
it their own.
What was that?
Like keep it in their own little own scene. Like don't spread it out, kind of like that, right?
Yeah, they cannot be meaner like what we've been doing, and that's the reason why it hasn't been out there.
Hmm.
Because they don't know otherwise what to call it, like Latin, because it has Latin roots, it has like salsa, it has cumbia, somehow, merengue. But if you really think about it, like ska in general, from where it came from where it started, like late 1940s, early 50s, it's a Latin sound because it's from Jamaica.
Jamaica, that's right.
Yeah, but it's not considered like traditional ska, like third wave, or like even reggae or more modern ska, like skin ska.
Cool.
Unfortunately, that's the way they rate it. So I think that's one of the big reasons why or ska, whether it's in LA or Mexico, or like new wave ska or new style or new fusion of ska, hasn't been commercial and it's not taken like as our first like route,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why when I started talking about Secta Court, I grew up like listening to white boy ska, Lested Jake and Aquabats and Robic Fish, and then once I found about Mexican ska, I got fucking hooked. I went, what the fuck is this? This is like the best ska ever, dude, because it has such a different Latin and flavor. It's fucking raw as fuck, dude, and I give a shout out to all the Mexican ska bands that ever been invented,
Yeah, it's kind of hard and complicated because people think it's like, oh, it's easy because you already have it in you. So it's easy to make 4 chords and then add like a Latin percussion or a Latin beat and then add some distortion and then there you go. That's your Latin or Mexican stuff. And it's like, it's not that easy because combining all of those things, it's a little complicated sometimes,
Mm-hmm. And the last ska question I got is you think ska will ever die?
It won't. I mean, if it hasn't died since like the beginning of it, like it's talking about since 1940 something, early 50s.
Yeah, Bob
So
Marley.
like we're already 2024. Like that's not. It's already a root of music that is not gonna die. It's considered already like a style of music. Like when you go to school and learn about like music sounds and the history of music, it's part of the history of music already. So it'll be definitely super hard to like for the music to die. Like the style.
I don't think it'll ever die out because like people like me and you, we're still loving it and still making it and still going to shows. Like I just saw you at Los Pericos with Los Trombóticos, and that was a few years ago, and it was a good crowd. And the LA scene will never die because we keep it alive, and then the Mexican scene too.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it'll be complicated. what I would really like to see, and I hope, like, I see it before, like, I die, is that the scene finally becomes, like,
Mainstream.
not only, like mainland, and not only, like, talking about money, but, like, just commercial in general.
Like a fair game, but like, hey man, ska's not a joke. It's fucking music. Give me a break, right?
Correct, yeah.
And lastly, before I go, bro, like I said, I want to hit you up later so we could record those Descante songs. And how'd you learn how to sing, dude?
How did I what?
How'd you learn how to sing good?
Well, when I was in the Salesian school, like they give you choir classes, so they teach you how to sing. So I learned there, and then I just got it on my own.
Cause you have a very like inspector kind of like flavor when I hear you.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's one of my big influences. I like the music. I still like the music after today. So, what I liked about that band was specifically that they were all musicians, they were well-educated musicians, they were doing quality music, but with rhythms that people like. And if you really see their story, they're pretty big because they made it big at some point of their career, meaning commercial-wise. And then they decided to go independent, and they're still, like, pretty famous, not only in the Latin, like, or American continent, but also in Europe and, like, Asia and stuff like that. But, I mean, that's why I was then really a big fan of Inspector. But that was the reason why, because we have a lot of good bands in LA, even underground bands that are still coming out today, but they don't have a good singer, and that kind of kills it.
Right, you need a good frontman.
We do have some bands that are still like active after today, and they don't have a good singer still. It's just the music's so cool and so nice, and so melodic to the fans that we keep on like following and liking it.
For sure, dude. And lastly, I just want to say thanks again for doing this interview, and I'll probably see you in Sacramento for October. See Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
And do you have any?
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, go for it.
No, say.
And do you have any plugs for your current band, like any websites to check them out, that fans?
It's the same website as always. It's on Facebook for Music Mob, 213 Music Mob on Facebook. We have some music on River Nation, 213 Music Mob, and that's so far what we have right now. I haven't done any Instagram or TikTok or nothing like that because we haven't really been out there for maybe about a year or 2 years. So, yeah.
All right, dude. Any shout-outs you want to do to the people? Anyone you want to shout out?
Well, just shout outs to everyone and to keep on just like, doing music and to start doing music just because you really love music, not for other reasons. And I just wish that, this is my personal thought and an ideal thing that I would like to have in the scene. And not just in the ska scene, just in general in the music scene. Let's start helping out each other for real. Let's stop like trying to make it about us and trying to play music for reasons that have nothing to do with music, And to stop being like dishonest about certain things on the scene that you only get to experience until you're in there, Like that's what I wish for new generations to be able to like see that, to stop believing what is said and start believing what they see with their own eyes, or the experience.
Yes, sir. And kill the hate and just love, right?
Correct. That's mainly the main reason why also the scene is not commercial.
Yes, sir, dude. All right, Miguel, I want to thank you for your time, and you have a good one in Sacramento, okay?
You too. I'll see you soon.
Yes, sir. All right.
Take care.
Thank you very much, bro.
All right, no problem.
Haters.
Peace.
When I wake up and I turn the TV, I see a new headliner, I see a new headliner. Sometime I came up to killing, she's a both squad, bullets running across my chest, and we don't really care, and we don't really care, and we don't really care. You keep on kicking on the head and never have time, yeah. We don't really care, we don't really care, we don't really care. when I cut my chest. And no one really cares, and no one really cares. You keep on kicking your neighbor in the head. Every morning when I went to my paper, and I get a new liner, I see I do the liner. Sometimes most of my security is that bomb squad. Running because I'm just there, we don't really care. You keep on kicking your neighbor inside of the head, and nobody cares. And we don't really care, and we don't really care. Every morning when I wake up and I turn on the TV, I see a new headliner, sounds I'm up to killing. These eyeballs fly, brothers running across my children, we don't really care. You keep on kicking your neighbor in the head, oh yeah. Every morning when I wake up I pick up the newspaper and I see a new headliner, I see a new headliner, sounds I'm up to killing, massacre, east eyeball squad. The soldiers running across my children, no one really cares. You keep on kicking your neighbor inside of the head, and no one really cares, and no one really cares. Every morning when I wake up I turn the TV, then I see a new headline in South I'm off for killing. These eyeballs fly, bullets running across my chest and no one cares. You keep on kicking your neighbor aside in the head and no one really cares. And no one really cares, and no one really cares, no one really cares, no one really cares. Every morning when I wake up I pick up the newspaper and I see a new headliner, I see a new headliner. Sometimes most of killing, these eyeballs fly, bullets run across my head and no one really cares. You keep on kicking your neighbor outside of the head, and no one really cares, and no one really cares, and no one really cares. Every morning when I wake up and I turn on the TV, I see a new headliner, I see a new headliner. Now time of the killing massacre bomb squad. East side, bullets across my chest, and no one really cares. No one really cares. Oh, oh, yeah. Ooh, yeah. Been looking for you spent some time since I seen you, oh yeah. Ooh baby, I've been looking for you it's been some time since I seen you, oh yeah. Ooh baby, I need you, ooh baby, I love you. You've been on my mind here tonight, ooh yeah.